Healing estrangement and finding purpose. There are some experiences in life that don't have a name big enough to hold them. Estrangement is one of them. It's a grief that hides in plain sight, a grief that doesn't get casseroles or sympathy cards, a grief that people don't know how to talk about, so they don't. And because of that, the parents living through it often feel ashamed, silenced, or completely alone. Today, I want to speak to anyone who knows this kind of grief. Not to expose anyone, not to blame, but to give voice to something so many people carry quietly. My story is simple and complicated at the same time. I left a marriage heartbroken after discovering infidelity. And in the aftermath, things unfolded in ways I never imagined. Doors closed, literally and emotionally. Access was restricted. Communication was controlled. And before I could even process what was happening, I found myself estranged from my youngest child. I'm not here to dissect the details. I'm here to talk about what happens inside a parent when something like this occurs. Because the internal experience, the emotional earthquake, is what so many of us share. Estrangement is a grief without closure. It's a grief that asks you to wake up every day and function while a part of your heart is living somewhere you can't reach. It's a grief that forces you to rebuild your identity outside of your role as a parent, even when that role is the one you cherish most. And yet, inside this grief, there is also a strange kind of awakening. When life removes something you never thought you would lose, you are forced to meet yourself in a new way. You are forced to learn emotional regulation, boundaries, and self-worth on a level you never needed before. You are forced to grow, not because you want to, but because the alternative is to collapse, and that's where purpose begins. A problem becomes purpose when you move through 4 stages, experiencing it, understanding it, transcending it, and eventually guiding others through it. I'm still in that process, but I have lived enough of it to speak to the parents who are still in the dark part of the tunnel. If that's you, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not unworthy. You are not alone. And your story is not over. Estrangement does not mean you failed as a parent. It means you are living through a situation that is bigger than your control. And healing begins the moment you stop blaming yourself for things you did not choose. One of the most powerful things I have learned is this: you don't need to solve the estrangement to find purpose in it. You only need to metabolize the pain into wisdom, and that wisdom becomes a lighthouse for others. When you speak about your experience with dignity, patience, and self-respect, you give other parents permission to breathe again. You help them feel less ashamed, less isolated, less invisible. You become a voice for the parents who cry in their cars, who scroll through old photos, who rehearse conversations that may never happen, who love their children from a distance because that's the only option they have. You become a guide for parents who are trying to heal without closure, one of the hardest emotional tasks a human being can face. And you model something powerful, that even in long-term uncertainty, you can still choose to live with integrity, compassion, and hope. Now, let's talk about healing. Because estrangement is not just an emotional wound, it's a full-body experience. It affects your nervous system, your sleep, your appetite, your sense of identity. Self-compassion is not optional here, it's essential. Self-love is not indulgent, it's survival. Here are practices that help soften the grief and bring you back into yourself. Grounding rituals, simple things like deep breathing, warm showers, or stepping outside barefoot remind your body that you are safe in this moment. Journaling without censorship, let the truth spill out, not the polished version. The real one? Your journal is the one place where you don't have to be strong. Name the emotion instead of fighting it. I'm grieving. I'm angry. I'm scared. Naming it reduces its power. Rebuilding identity through small, meaningful actions a new hobby, a new routine, a new boundary. These are not distractions. They are reclamations, community with people who understand, not people who judge, not people who offer cliches, people who get it. Therapy or support groups, not because you're broken, but because you deserve support. Practicing hope without attachment, hope that the relationship may heal someday, but also hope that you can live a full, meaningful life even while you wait. Allowing joy to return without guilt. You're allowed to laugh. You're allowed to feel peace. You are allowed to build a life that nourishes you. And finally, turning your pain into purpose, not by pretending everything is okay, not by rushing your healing, but by sharing your story in a way that helps others feel seen. Your emotional intelligence, your lived experience, your resilience, these are gifts. And they can help other parents navigate the same storm with more clarity and less shame. Estrangement may be part of your story, but it is not the end of your story. You are allowed to heal. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to become someone new. And one day, whether reconciliation happens or not, you will look back and see that this chapter shaped you into someone wiser, stronger, and more compassionate than you ever imagined. That is how a problem becomes purpose. That is how pain becomes passion. That is how grief becomes guidance. And that is how we rise.